The wind howled across the empty plains of the distant planet. The sky was a strange mix of dark blue and red, with two suns sinking low on the horizon. Dust swirled around broken rocks and dead trees. It was a harsh world, one that had never been kind to humans. But Marcus had no choice. This was his home now. Marcus crouched behind a cracked wall of metal. His breath was quick, and his heart pounded in his chest. Across the open ground, dark shapes moved. The alien raiders were coming again. They came every night looking for food, supplies, or prisoners. But Marcus was not going to give up this time. In his arms, his small daughter Lila clung tightly to his jacket. She was only 7, but she was brave. Her wide eyes stared ahead, filled with fear but also trust. Marcus promised her safety. He would do everything to keep her alive. The alien raiders were tall and thin, with sharp claws and glowing red eyes. Their language was a harsh growl, but Marcus had learned to understand their meaning. They wanted to take Lila. She was a prize, a symbol of human weakness they could crush. Marcus looked around quickly. The colony was in ruins. The shelters were broken, the walls burned. The few humans left had either hidden or fled. Marcus stayed because he had to protect Lila, his only family. The raiders moved closer. Their long legs carried them fast and silent. Marcus knew he had only minutes before they reached his hiding place. "Lila," he whispered, "I need you to be very quiet. Do not make a sound. Promise me." Lila nodded, her small hand gripping his tightly. Marcus took a deep breath. He checked. His weapon, a laser rifle, old but still working. He had only a few shots left. He would not waste them. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the silence. A small rock skittered on the ground. The raiders stopped. One of them sniffed the air, sensing something was near. Marcus's muscles tensed. He could not run. He had to fight. The raiders spotted them. A loud growl echoed as they charged forward. Marcus fired his rifle. Bright beams of light cut through the air, hitting one raider in the chest. It fell, but more were coming. Marcus pushed Lila behind the wall and stood up. He fired again, dodging claws that swiped dangerously close. The raiders were fast, stronger than any human. But Marcus had something they did not: a father's determination. He heard Lila scream behind him. One raider had slipped past his fire and grabbed her arm. Marcus's heart broke, but he did not hesitate. He swung his rifle like a club and hit the raider's head. The creature released Lila and stumbled back. "Run, Lila! Run!" Marcus shouted. Lila did not hesitate. She sprinted across the open ground toward the distant shelter, tears streaming down her face but her legs moving fast. Marcus turned back to the raiders. He knew this was the end for him, but he did not fear death. He feared what would happen if Lila was caught. The raiders closed in, claws and teeth flashing. Marcus fired the last shots of his rifle, then dropped it. He drew a small knife from his belt, its blade shining faintly. The fight was brutal. Marcus moved with all his strength. Every strike aimed to keep the raiders away from Lila's path. His body was tired and wounded, but his spirit was fierce. One raider grabbed him from behind, its cold claws digging into his shoulder. Marcus twisted and stabbed the knife into the creature's chest. It hissed and released him. He collapsed to the ground, breathing hard. The raiders surrounded him, but he saw Lila reach the shelter safely. Marcus smiled weakly. His job was done. The last thing he saw was a bright flash of light from the sky. A sudden heat filled the air. The raiders stopped, looking up in fear. Marcus closed his eyes. Somewhere far away, Earth was responding. Far away from the rough plains where Marcus made his last stand, Earth was watching. Deep inside a massive control center, scientists and leaders gathered around glowing screens. They stared at data streams from the distant colony, their faces tense with worry. The colony had been quiet for weeks. No messages, no signals. Then suddenly the monitors flashed red. A distress call. The signal was weak, but clear. A human had died protecting a child. Dr. Sarah Holden, the lead scientist, leaned forward. Her fingers flew over the controls as she tried to get more information. "This is Marcus and Lila's colony," she said, softly. "He died protecting his daughter. The system picked up a strange energy spike at the moment of his death." The room fell silent. Everyone knew Earth's defense AI had been waiting for a trigger like this. The planet's protection system was designed long ago, hidden deep within the Earth's core and satellites. It was supposed to awaken if humans ever faced a serious threat outside the solar system. General Ahmed, the military leader, stood up. "So the legends are true. Earth will respond if we're attacked." "Yes," Sarah replied. "But this is the first time in decades the system is activated. We need to act fast." Outside, the sky over Earth was clear and blue. But beneath the surface, something ancient and powerful was stirring. Back on the colony planet, Lila ran through the ruined streets. Her small legs moved as fast as they could carry her. Behind her, the sounds of alien raiders faded, but she did not stop. Fear pushed her forward. Lila reached a safe shelter, a small group of humans huddled inside. They stared at her wide-eyed. She collapsed into the arms of an old friend, Mara. "Mara," Lila whispered. "Marcus is gone. He saved me." Mara hugged her tightly. "He was brave. We will not forget." But even as they spoke, the ground trembled beneath their feet. A low rumble grew louder. The humans looked outside, eyes wide in shock. In the distance, dark clouds gathered. Lightning crackled across the sky, strange and fierce. The air grew hot, and the wind carried a scent of burning earth. Thousands of miles above the colony, Earth's orbit was alive with action. Satellites once silent now buzzed with energy. They adjusted their positions, focusing on the colony's coordinates. The planet itself began to change. Volcanic regions heated up, releasing plumes of ash and smoke. Giant storms formed over the oceans, their winds tearing through the clouds like wild beasts. Earth's defense AI, known as Gaia, had awakened. Gaia was no ordinary program. It was linked to Earth's weather systems, its satellites, and even its power grids. It could control storms, trigger volcanic activity, and send electromagnetic pulses through space. Gaia was Earth's way of protecting its children, humanity. In the control center, Sarah watched the data with growing amazement. "The spike from the colony was just the start," she said. "Gaia is sending signals now. It's disrupting the alien raiders' communications near the colony." General Ahmed nodded. "We have confirmation from the fleet. Their ships are losing power, systems failing. Whatever Earth is doing, it's working." Sarah smiled faintly. Marcus's sacrifice woke Gaia. Now Earth is fighting back. Back on the colony, the alien raiders felt the change too. Their ships flickered, strange noises filled their communications, and strange lights appeared in the sky. One raider leader growled, "The planet is fighting us. This is no ordinary attack." The aliens began to retreat, confused and afraid. They had never seen a planet respond to a human death before, but Earth was not done. On the colony planet, Lila looked up at the sky. The stars seemed different now, brighter and closer. The air was warmer, almost alive. Mara pulled her inside. "Stay safe, Lila. Earth is with us now. We must be strong." Lila nodded, holding her father's memory close. She knew the battle was far from over. But she also knew something important. Earth would protect its own. Back on Earth, Sarah turned to General Ahmed. "We need to send more help. The colony will need reinforcements." Ahmed agreed. "Prepare the fleet. We move at first light." Sarah smiled with hope. Marcus's last stand was not in vain. Earth's judgment has begun. As night fell over the colony, strange fires lit the distant mountains. They burned bright and fierce, but they were not destructive. Instead, they marked a warning. Earth was watching, Earth was judging, and Earth was ready to fight. The alien raiders fled into the shadows, confused and shaken. Their ships struggled to maintain power, and their once confident attacks were now met with fierce resistance. Earth's response was unlike anything they had ever seen. Far above the colony planet, Earth's satellites hovered silently in orbit. They formed a network of watchful eyes and unseen weapons. The satellites sent out bursts of electromagnetic pulses that disabled the raiders' ships and weapons. Systems failed, and panic spread among the aliens. General Ahmed stood on the command bridge of the Earth Defense Fleet's flagship, his gaze fixed on the holographic map displaying the battle zone. "Their communications are breaking down," he said. "Earth's defenses are cutting through their forces like a knife." Dr. Sarah Holden nodded beside him. "Gaia is controlling everything now. The planet's defense system is fully active. We are witnessing a living judgment." On the colony surface, human survivors moved cautiously through the ruins. They had watched their homes burned and their friends taken or killed. But now, a new hope burned within them. Earth was fighting back, and humanity was not alone. Lila, now under the care of Mara and the small group of survivors, listened carefully to the crackling radio messages. "Earth's satellites are protecting us," Mara explained. "They block the alien signals and stop their weapons. We have a chance." Lila's eyes brightened. "My father. He made Earth wake up." "Yes," Mara said softly. "His courage was the spark." In the skies above, massive storms roared with power. Lightning flashed across thick clouds, and the ground trembled from distant volcanic eruptions. Earth's judgment was not just technology, it was nature itself. The alien raiders found their ships buffeted by sudden storms, engines failing under strange magnetic forces. The planet's own atmosphere became a weapon, tearing at their ships and blocking their advances. One alien captain shouted orders, his voice filled with fear. "Retreat! This world is against us." But the retreat was not easy. Earth's satellites fired precise energy pulses, disabling enemy ships one by one. The humans fought back with new weapons powered by Earth's energy. These weapons pulsed with a strange light, stronger and sharper than anything the raiders had seen. On Earth, the control center was alive with activity. Scientists and military leaders worked side by side, coordinating the defense. Sarah watched, the real-time images from the colony, her heart pounding. "We must keep the pressure," she said. "Gaia is weakening the aliens, but we need to finish this." General Ahmed nodded. "Prepare the next wave of ships. We will send reinforcements and supplies to the colony." Sarah smiled. Marcus's sacrifice was the key. Earth will not let him die in vain. Back on the colony, Lila trained with other children and survivors. She learned to use a small weapon, her hands steady despite her age. She was determined to protect her new family. One evening, as the stars began to shine, Mara took Lila aside. "Your father was brave, but the fight is not over. We must be ready." Lila nodded. "I will be ready. For him. For Earth." The alien forces regrouped in a dark canyon. Their leader, a tall alien with glowing eyes, spoke sharply. "Earth's power is too great. We must retreat and rethink our attack." But some raiders disagreed. "We cannot run," one said. "The humans are weak. We will crush them." The leader shook his head. "No. Earth itself fights for the humans. We face more than flesh and bone. We face a planet's wrath." As the alien fleet began to withdraw, Earth's judgment did not stop. Volcanic eruptions lit the night, wildfires burned along dry ridges, and massive storms rolled across the land. The planet's fury was a warning to any who would threaten humanity. On the colony, the survivors watched the sky. They saw Earth's power and felt hope. Earth had answered the call. It had passed judgment on the enemies of humanity. Lila stood tall, her eyes shining with determination. The fight was far from over, but Earth was ready, and so was she. The alien raiders were shaken. They had never imagined a planet could fight back with such power. Their ships, once symbols of fear and destruction, now lay disabled or burning in the skies above the colony. But the raiders were stubborn. They would not give up easily. Deep inside their hidden base, the alien leaders gathered. The air was thick with tension. The leader, known as Vokhtar, paced in front of a large map showing the colony and Earth's satellites. "The planet is using storms, fires, and technology against us," Vokhtar said, his voice low but fierce. "We must strike hard and fast, before Earth's power grows." His advisors nodded. They planned a new attack, one that would try to destroy the colony's last defenses and break Earth's will. On the colony, humans worked together. They repaired buildings, shared food, and trained for the fight ahead. Lila was no longer a scared child. She had grown strong, learning how to use weapons and survive in this harsh world. Mara watched her with pride. "You remind me of your father," she said. "Brave and strong." Lila smiled but kept her eyes on the horizon. "I want to help protect Earth. I want to stop the aliens." Mara nodded. "We will need everyone's courage." Earth's response continued to grow, stronger. From orbit, satellites launched drones that flew over the colony, scouting and sending real-time information. They also carried special weapons, non-lethal beams that could disable enemy machines and shields that protected human settlements. On the ground, human fighters used new energy weapons powered by Earth's technology. These weapons pulsed with bright light and cut through alien armor. The humans fought with hope, knowing Earth was with them. One night, a warning alarm sounded across the colony. The alien raiders were coming again, this time with more ships and weapons. Lila stood with Mara and the fighters ready for battle. Her hands gripped her weapon tightly. She felt fear, but it was mixed with determination. The sky lit up with fire as alien ships descended. The first beams struck the human defenses, trying to break the shields. But Earth's satellites fired back, sending powerful pulses that made the raiders' ships flicker and lose power. The battle was fierce. Lasers and energy beams crossed the sky. Explosions shook the ground, but the humans held their lines. Lila ran through the battlefield, helping injured fighters and passing ammunition. She saw Mara fight bravely, taking down raiders with sharp shots. Suddenly, a large alien ship broke through the defenses and headed toward the colony's main shelter. It was a powerful warship, ready to destroy everything. Lila's heart raced. She knew what she had to do. "Follow me," she shouted, to a small group of fighters. They chased the ship, using fast vehicles and Earth's drones to track it. The ship fired back, trying to stop them, but Earth's satellites guided the fighters, showing weak points in the ship's armor. Lila fired her weapon at a critical spot. The ship shuddered and slowed. Then, a strong pulse from Earth's satellites hit it directly, disabling its engines. The ship crashed outside the colony, burning but no longer a threat. The victory lifted the spirits of the humans. They cheered, knowing they had taken a big step forward. But they also knew the fight was not over. Back in the alien base, Vokhtar slammed his fist on the table. "They fight harder than we expected. Earth's power is stronger than we imagined." One advisor spoke quietly. "Maybe we should retreat and find another way." Vokhtar shook his head. "No, we must learn from this and come back stronger. But for now, we will leave the colony. Earth's judgment has forced us to rethink." On the colony, the fires that burned on distant hills were not destruction, but warning signs. Earth was saying, "Protect humanity, or face the fire." Lila looked up at the sky, stars twinkling above. She felt her father's courage inside her. Earth had answered with judgment and fire, but now, humans had to stand tall and protect their future. The colony was quiet for the first time in weeks. The alien raiders had pulled back, leaving behind wreckage and silence. But the humans did not relax. They knew this calm was only temporary. Lila stood at the edge of the settlement, looking out, over the broken landscape. Her heart was heavy but filled with determination. Her father's sacrifice was a memory she carried every day. She was no longer just a child running for safety. She was a fighter, a leader for those who needed hope. Mara approached her, carrying a small crate filled with supplies. "The others are preparing for the next phase," she said. "We need to take back what was lost." Lila nodded. We can't let the aliens come back. We have to be ready. Back on Earth, the command center was alive with plans. The fleet was preparing a new mission, one not just to defend, but to push forward. It was time to take the fight to the alien raiders. General Ahmed looked at the map showing the colony and enemy positions. We have to cut off their supply lines. If we stop their resources, we weaken their entire operation. Dr. Sarah Holden nodded. Gaia will support us. The planet's power and our technology combined are strong. We can change the course of this war. On the colony, Lila trained every day. She practiced with her weapon, learning to aim faster and move quicker. She joined other young fighters, sharing stories of Marcus's bravery. His sacrifice inspired them all. One evening, Lila gathered the group. We are not just defending, she said. We will go on the attack. We will take back what is ours. The fighters cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. The next day, Earth's fleet moved into position. Satellites scanned the alien supply routes, and drones flew ahead to gather information. The humans launched a series of precise strikes. Using new energy weapons, they destroyed enemy depots and ships far from the colony. The aliens were caught off guard. Their forces began to crumble. On the colony, Lila led a small group on a mission to capture a key alien outpost. It was a dangerous journey through rocky hills and deep caves. The raiders had hidden traps and guards, but the humans moved carefully. As they approached, Lila signaled her team to stop. They waited in silence, listening to the sounds of the outpost. Remember, Lila whispered, we fight for our future, for those we love. The team nodded. With quiet determination, they attacked. The fight was intense, but the humans used their Earth-powered weapons and clever tactics. Slowly, they took control. Back in the alien base, Vaktar received reports of the losses. His face darkened with anger. They are stronger than ever. Earth's judgment has given humans new power. One officer warned, if we do not act soon, we risk losing everything. Vaktar clenched his fists. Prepare for a final strike. We will crush the humans and their planet's power. On the colony, Lila and her team returned with supplies and captured weapons. They were welcomed as heroes. Mara hugged Lila tightly. You are your father's daughter. Lila smiled but looked toward the stars. This is just the beginning. On Earth, the skies darkened as giant storms formed over the colony planet. Gaia's power was still strong, protecting the humans and helping them fight back. General Ahmed stood on the command deck watching the battle unfold. Earth's judgment is working, the tide is turning. Dr. Sarah Holden added, humanity will survive. We will win. Lila looked at the burning fires in the distance, Earth's warning and promise. She knew the final battle was coming, but she was ready for her father, for Earth, for all humanity. The dawn was quiet but heavy with meaning. The colony lay beneath a sky still glowing with the last fires of Earth's judgment. The battle had been long, fierce, and costly, but humanity stood firm. Lila walked through the camp, her footsteps steady and sure. She had grown beyond the scared child who once ran for her life. Now she was a leader, a symbol of hope and strength for all the survivors. Around her, the humans worked to rebuild what had been lost. Broken shelters were repaired, fields were cleared, and plans were made for a better future. But most important was the feeling of unity. Humans and Earth were connected like never before. Far above the planet, Earth's satellites watched over the colony. The great storms had calmed, the volcanic fires dimmed, but the planet remained alert. Gaia, the ancient defense AI, was still awake, guarding humanity's future. Back on Earth, the command center buzzed with cautious optimism. Dr. Sarah Holden and General Ahmed watched the data streams, their faces tired but proud. We have won this battle, Sarah said softly, but we must remain vigilant. Gaia will protect us as long as we need. Ahmed nodded. Marcus's sacrifice was the beginning. Now it is up to all of us to protect what he gave his life for. The alien raiders had been pushed back, their forces scattered and weakened. Their leaders no longer dared to attack openly. Instead, they retreated to distant corners of the galaxy, wary of Earth's judgment and humanity's will to survive. On the colony, Lila stood before the gathered survivors. She held a small, worn photo of her father. "He gave everything to protect me," she said, her voice clear and strong. But Earth responded. Earth judged the enemy and fought back with fire. Now, we must carry his courage forward. The crowd cheered, their spirits lifted. They were not just survivors, they were protectors of their home, warriors of a new age. In the following days, the colony grew stronger. New ships arrived from Earth, bringing supplies, medicine, and new friends. Together, humans began to explore the planet again, reclaiming their land from the shadows of war. Lila worked alongside Mara and others, helping to train new defenders and teach children the lessons of courage and hope. One evening, as the twin suns set, Lila looked up at the stars. She felt the weight of her father's legacy and the promise of a future built on strength, unity, and love. Earth's judgment had been fierce, but it was also a promise that humanity would never stand alone. The fires of judgment had burned away the fear. They had forged a new path for humans across the stars, and as long as Earth watched, humans would rise again,